about a lot are deadbeat fathers, right? And we hear a lot about how deadbeat fathers can be, but we never ever hear the stories about deadbeat mothers. We don't hear the stories about deadbeat mothers, and I think the reason is because women aren't willing to hold other women accountable. And so recently I read a story about a mother who got her young, I believe it was 14-year-old child, to go and shoot somebody for her.
And a disturbing case unfolds in court. A mother accused of ordering her son to commit murder in a West Pullman restaurant. The mother and son are now charged, both of them. Elizabeth Matthews joins us now with more on this developing story. Elizabeth?
Yeah, Natalie, that mom who's accused of giving those shoot-to-kill orders is now being held on $3 million bail. Parts of that shooting were actually captured on this restaurant's surveillance video, which helped the witnesses identify the suspects to police. So this all happened Sunday night, police tell us, just after 11 o'clock, about 11:05 p.m. 35-year-old Carlisha Hood and her 14-year-old son arrived at the Maxwell Street restaurant on South Halstead at 117th. Hood went in for food. Her son waited in the car. Prosecutors say that's when she began arguing with this man, 32-year-old Jeremy Brown, who was also inside ordering food at the time. Hood began texting her son, who appeared in the doorway, hands in his pockets. A fight became physical between Hood and the victim. The victim was able to punch the woman once. That's when prosecutors say the boy pulled out a gun, fired a single shot to the victim's back, followed him outside, kept firing, striking him fatally twice in the back.
Once outside of the restaurant, while the co-defendant was still shooting at the victim, the defendant instructed her son, the co-defendant, to continue to shoot and kill the victim. Once the co-defendant finished shooting the victim, the defendant turned her focus towards witness one. She began pointing at witness one and instructing her son to shoot her.
Prosecutors say the Hood even tried to get the gun from her son, but he pushed her away. No shots were fired at that witness, who is also the victim's girlfriend. Both mother and son facing murder charges. She's also charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The teen boy also facing unlawful use and possession of a firearm. Both, we're told, did surrender themselves to police yesterday. We're also told that Hood, the woman charged in this, the mom charged in this, also had a FOID card herself and was licensed to conceal carry.
This boy was, I believe, 14 years old, and his mother got him to go and kill somebody for him. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but where's the father? Why aren't the fathers around? What's going on with the father? A lot of the time, mothers like this, the fact that you can actually get your own 14-year-old boy to go and do something like this says a lot about a mother, to me anyway. But we don't speak about the fact that a lot of mothers are deadbeats, okay? A lot of women out there have chosen the wrong path to go down, and they expect an out all the time. They expect some kind of sympathy all the time. They never expect to be held accountable for their actions. And it's about time that they do. They get held accountable for their actions. So there's a lot of mothers out there. I'm a father myself, and I know what it's like to try to fight, to try and see your own child, to have a constant battle with a woman trying to see your own child, and then being attempted to be labeled as a deadbeat. And it's not that. This is what I found out about a lot of men, because a lot of men come and talk to me, and I hold a few consultations about things, right? And I've realized that a lot of men are not actually deadbeats. They're not deadbeats. They are men that have just grown tired of jumping through so many different fucking hoops, right? For women. They're just tired of it. A woman will say things like, oh, you can only see your child if you have them on these specific days. You can't have them on those specific days because it doesn't align with, quote unquote, my schedule. Because a lot of these mothers see the child as theirs, right? The child is theirs, and it's on their schedule, and everything's on their time. So it's like, oh, you can't have your child unless it's on these times. And a lot of fathers, because they want to see their children or child, say, okay, cool, don't worry, I can do that. Mistake number one. No compromise and no negotiation. That is mistakes that a lot of fathers make. Because what that does with a woman who thinks that she's in the position of power, it gives her the scope to keep pushing the boundaries. It gives her the scope to keep seeing what else she can control. So they'll start off with that. And then they'll say, oh, next time you want to take your child, oh, I want to know where you are at all times. You're like, well, that's a bit excessive. No, I want to know where you are at all times. So let me know where you're going. Where are you going with them? Let me know where you're going. And as a father who wants to see their child or their children, they say, oh, fuck. Okay, fine. Like, I'll be going to my mom's, I'll be going to my sister's, blah, blah, blah. Now, when he's with the mother, the father doesn't know anything. The father doesn't request to know where the child is because he believes that the child's in good care or in good hands. He doesn't need to know where the child is at all times. However, when a lot of these deadbeat mothers want control, they use manipulation for especially good fathers and good men who want to see their children. So then she goes into, oh, I need to know where you're at all times. Mistake number two, giving in to her demands. Telling you, never give in to her demands because I'm telling you, the boundaries are going to be pushed. So then it goes from, oh, next time she's pushing the boundaries, she's going to say something like, oh, well, last time you told me where you were, but it wasn't enough. So every hour I'm going to send you a text or send me a text, right, to let you know where I am and let me know my child's okay. So as a father, if the child's of age, you think to yourself, do you know what? This can easily be rectified. How? If I buy my child a phone and my child's with me, right? Anything you want to do and you want to check up on, there you go. Call the child. I'll keep the phone with me and the child because I'm gonna be with the child at all times. If you need to speak to the child, you don't need to call me. Don't call me. Call the child. Get it straight from the horse's mouth. Are you okay, baby? Is your father treating you all right? Is grandma doing this? Blah blah blah. Fine. Go straight to the horse's mouth. Because as a parent, you could lie. I could be like, yeah, they're fine. Everything's cool. Get it straight from the child's mouth. So you as a father think, I can rectify this situation. I can get my child a phone, and then they don't need to know anything else except for what comes out of the child's mouth. Fine. So you get your child a phone. And then you say to yourself, you know what, that's cool because the mother no longer needs to call me, right? They can call the child. So I can, relax. I can get less hassle, right? I'm not getting a call every hour saying, how are they? Are they okay? How are they? Are they okay? Less hassle. You know what? Go straight to the child. But then you know what? You say to yourself, you know what? Actually, I actually don't want to speak to you because this is getting a little bit too much now. Oh, you've got your child a phone? Yes, I've got my child a phone. Well, but they're not old enough for a phone. Listen, the phone is just for the purpose of when they're with me, right? You can speak to them, you don't have to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, what if it's an emergency? Well, if it's an emergency, the phone's right there, you can call them. Matter of fact, I can call you off the child's phone. No, I tell you what, the next time you take our child, you need to do X. And I'm telling you, they will keep pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries and pushing the boundaries to see just how they can control the situation. And I'm telling you, they will not be happy until you are wearing a clown suit walking backwards down a road with your child. You can only see your child if you're wearing this clown suit and you walk backwards and then you have to do a zigzag. And then if you don't do a zigzag, then you can't see your child. I'm telling you, it goes one after the other. It gets so extreme. This control and manipulation of these deadbeat mothers. And I'm telling you, I consult men and some of the things that I hear coming from these men, I'm just like, God damn. She wants you to do that. Yeah, she said, I can't see my child unless I do that. Then I've got to go court. And there's a lot of guys, I actually had to go to court myself. And my son lives 20 minutes away from me. And I'm just like, why? Why? Like, I can drive 20 minutes down the street and pick him up. No, you have to go to court. Why? Just randomly out of the blue. Because what it is that for my own personal, I did not adhere. For a while, I adhered to the manipulation. For a while, I actually gave in because, you know, you want to see your child. But then it gets to a point you're like, you know what? You're trying to take my manhood away from me now, okay? You're trying to take my manhood away from me. You're trying to emasculate me. No. And then they keep thinking to themselves, how am I going to be able to control this situation? How am I going to keep in control of this situation? And you know what's next? The court system. Because they know that they can't control it themselves, because you're just like, fine, whatever. Then they're like, oh, the only way you can see your child is if you go to court. And you're like, go to court for what? My child lives, we can arrange this as adults between us. No, you have to go to court if you want to see your child. Man, listen. The manipulation of some of these deadbeat mothers out here, right? And like I said, I consult men each month. They're in my, I take consultations, by the way. So for anybody that wants to speak about this kind of stuff, you can contact me. But yeah, some of the things that I hear men say and some of the things that I see some of these manipulative mothers do, I'm just like, goodness gracious, bro. And the court system, as a man, generally automatically sees you as the guilty one. They generally automatically see you as the bad guy, right? So it's like a lose-lose situation. It's like you're going to be seen in a bad light anyway, but the fact that she can control that situation and control that scenario gives her pleasure. I'm telling you, there are so many mothers out there that we don't speak about on the spectrum of deadbeat, and I'm telling you, it needs to be spoken about.